So for some reason it canceled half my video, which I'm really annoyed about. But anyway, gonna redo it again. I hope it's really not just only records 45 seconds, because that's terrible and I would use something else. But anyways, so the problem I have is that this whole these whole this whole insanity thing that happens, all these delusions, the loss of your own mind that happen within your head, within inside Etika's head, is a problem in itself. And too many people nowadays take it as a joke, and it's not. So, coming from myself and what I've been through, it is not a joke. It's not. People either think it's a joke or they don't take it seriously. And that's the problem that we have in this generation. People take things way too far. They laugh at too many things, and it's just not funny. Speaking in terms of myself, I've been through depression. I've been through a point in my life where I felt like my life was worthless. Like, literally wanting to end it all by just taking myself outside and jumping right in front of a car, and then the sadness is gone. It's gone forever. And that's why people commit suicide. But okay, so in the Facebook groups that I'm in a bunch of gamer groups and stuff because I'm a huge gamer. And a bunch of these Facebook groups and shit, people are taking this shit like it's a joke, and it's not funny at all. First of all, they don't feel as though Etika deserves any sort of condolences about his death, because they feel as though, I have some of the shit on my phone. It's actually really disgusting. They don't feel as though Etika deserves any sort of condolences, or he doesn't deserve a proper memorial because he committed suicide. Because there's some people that don't believe in suicide and all that bullshit. I'm like, okay, well, unless you've actually been through suicide yourself, then you really don't need to be talking. You don't know what it's like to be depressed. You don't understand what it's like. You don't understand what it's like to have these delusions and these nervous breakdowns, and this paranoia that lives inside of you. Like, they don't understand. That's why these people are such, like, assholes, because they don't understand what it's like. And it's not funny. Like, it really just isn't funny. And so I've cursed a bunch of people out in these I've I've cursed a bunch of these people out in these comment sections. I want to actually read some of them, because there's some of them are really just fucking disgusting. It's better for me to, like, point them out. Okay, so first of all, on Facebook, this Facebook post, on this Facebook post, there are people laughing at this post. Oh, my eye. In this Facebook group that I'm in. I don't know if you can see it. And people were making these really rude comments. Like, you see this one? Oh, this meme is for legends only, or who is this? Um, like, people were like, oh, like, like asking like who is this? Like why does it matter who it is? You found out this guy, whether you know him or not. I've heard of him. I didn't really know what his career was or what he was doing. But does is that a reason for me to be like, oh, who is this guy? What does he do? Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. See, that's the problem that I have with these people. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what he did. He was still a fucking person, you fucking brain dead son of a bitch. Like shit like that really pisses me off because it's like, who gives a fuck what his profession was, what he was doing for a living? It doesn't matter. You just found out that this guy had died. The last thing you should be worried about, something in my eye again, the last thing you should be worried about is what he does as a living, what he does as a career. It doesn't matter. Respect the dead. Respect the dead. Okay? It's that simple. And people are like, oh, this one guy's like, I'm not laughing at his death. It's not funny. But people tried to help him and tried hard, but he would never admit there was a problem or accept any of the help offered to him. Sadly, with the way it was going, there was only one way to end this, which is a shame for his family. And there's the one I ultimately feel bad for. So basically, he's blaming the kid himself for why he committed suicide. Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. See, he's trying to say that, oh, people tried to help him and he wasn't listening. That's the that's one of the symptoms of a fucking that's one of those symptoms of these delusions, of a mental sickness, you dumb fuck. You are gonna deny these things because when you yourself have been depressed, you're gonna know what it's like to, it depends on the person, but a lot of people are going to pretend they don't have it. Well, I'm not going to say pretend they don't have it, but a lot of people are going to say that they don't have these issues knowing damn well they do that. Since he's a YouTube star, it's all over the internet. All these people can see that he has this mental illness. And he's saying, oh, he would never admit there was a problem. That's one of the symptoms of a mental illness, you dumb fuck. Like, why don't people realize this? There are so many symptoms of mental illnesses that people are so ignorant about that they want to be quick to put their finger on the person instead of what's stuck inside their head, instead of the paranoia that's stuck inside their head. I have this bag, right? I have this bag that says depression is a flaw in the chemistry, not the character. And it's 100% spot on. I still have the bag somewhere. I don't really use it. But it is a bag that I'll wear with pride because it is 100% accurate. See, depression isn't the person's fault. It is never the person's fault. So this guy right here that's saying, oh, he would never admit there was a problem and that he feels bad for the family. Ultimately, he feels bad for the family and the people that tried to help him, and not actually bad for Etika himself. Um, he's trying to blame Etika for why he didn't see what was wrong with him. But as I was stating before, the bag that I have that says depression is a flaw in the chemistry, not the character, it is not the person's fault for why they're depressed. At the end of the day, it is never the person's fault for why they're depressed. It is the paranoia, the delusions, the mental sickness that lives inside of your fucking head that tells you every day that you're a worthless piece of shit. That's the problem with you. And that's what the bag that I own is trying to say. Okay? So I don't get what's wrong with these people and why they're trying to blame. You are never supposed to blame the person for why they're depressed. It is never their fault. And that's the point that I am trying to make to every single one of you ignorant motherfuckers out here. And I'm talking about the ones that are ignorant itself. You know? I am talking about the people out here that are ignorant itself that want to blame Etika for why he ended his own life. Sorry, I'm a really emotional person, so if I cry, it should be expected because that's just how I am. I'm good though. I didn't burst out into a array of tears, but um, yeah. So it's the chemistry that goes on inside of your head, which is the chemistry being the paranoia, the delusions, the mental sickness that lives inside of your head. That's the part of the that is a part of the problem with the depression. It is not the character of the person. It is not the fucking person's fault for why they're depressed. It's not a person's fault for why they're blaming themselves, or they don't, in this case, Etika doesn't see the problems that live inside of him, that grow inside of him. It is not his fault for why he is the way he is. Don't ever blame the person. Don't ever fucking blame the person. And don't blame Sue. Don't use your morality, your bullshit morality that suicide is fucking bad. So that's why I have no respect for him for why he killed himself. Blah blah blah. Well, go fuck yourself, okay? Because you don't know what it's like to be fucking depressed. At the end of the day, you don't know what it's like to be depressed. Coming from myself, I have had people try to blame me for why I feel the way I do, even though it's the people around me that were making me depressed. It's been one of those situations. Some people have some of those depressions, some of those situations where it's the people around them, the negativity that grows around them that make them a depressed person. Like, for example, toxic family members, toxic people in their life, toxic boyfriend and girlfriends, toxic co-workers, a bullshit ass life, just people being naturally downright rude to them and they don't even know who you are. For example, you walk down the street past someone and someone just like shoulders you out of the way for no fucking reason. Shoulders you out of the way for no fucking reason, just being a dickhead for no reason. There's shit like that happens every fucking day, and people have the audacity to come at me on some bullshit talking about, oh, suicide's the easy way out, blah blah blah. Nah, nah, nah. You don't know what it's like to be depressed. Fuck off. I haven't felt that level of depression in a couple years, and I'm so glad I've grown out of it. I'm so glad it's done. I'm done with. But him, Attica personally, he had problems with it. And some people can't grow out of it. Some people can't help themselves. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes other people can't help you. You have to help yourself. You know, I took my own self into the hospital when I wanted to jump in front of a fucking car and end my life. I took my own self into a hospital, and another reason I took myself into the hospital is because I, I was kind of afraid of death itself in the sense that I didn't want to die a really painful death. Like, I was scared that, like, me jumping in front of a car, it would end terribly with me bones breaking and cracking. But you'd be instantly dead, right? Yes. But that's the only reason that I'm still alive today is because I'm afraid of the actual outcome of death. I wanted to stab myself. I wanted to stab myself to death. I wanted to do all these things to myself to end my own life, but I never actually did it because I was afraid of the physical outcome that I would get from death. So that's why I haven't done that. But anyways, if you were in that situation like me, sometimes you gotta turn yourself in. Sometimes you gotta turn yourself in. I turned myself in, and how I overcame my depression, I started taking these therapy classes. Now therapy is expensive itself, right? But it's not really a problem for Etika because he's a famous YouTube. But regardless, therapy also doesn't help for everybody. Medication doesn't help for everybody. I'd rather not take gigantic ass pills and cram them down my throat every day to overcome my depression. Some people just get seasonal depression where they get depressed every winter or fall or shit like that. But I was taking these therapy classes, a part of my Medicaid, a part of my health insurance, so I wasn't paying out of pocket for them. And I was taking a class, and I was meeting a bunch of people who felt the same way as me, but they felt depression in a different sort of way. So they handled their cure for depression was through drinking alcohol. Their cure of depression, their cure of depression was through. Hold on a second. Their cure of depression was through drinking, psychedelics, drugs. I was just naturally going through a depression. I didn't really know what to do to cure my depression, so I was just living through it. I didn't think about taking any alcohol. I didn't think about taking any psychedelics or drugs. I never even thought about that. Because, one, I've never been the type of girl to even use drugs. I was, all throughout high school, I was like straight edge and shit. Like, when. But now, it's complete opposite. So, I was taking these classes, these therapy classes, and I was really relating to these people. I was really feeling them. I really respected them and what they were going through. And there was one other woman in the class who actually had the same situation as me. She was in the same, like, family situation with me, where my family was the ones making me even more depressed than what I was. They weren't making my life better in any way, shape, or form. And I related to her so much because she had a um a person in her family who was also making her um even more depressed than what she already was. So those classes were helping. I was kind of changing as a person. I was feeling a lot better because of that. I was losing the headaches that I was getting. I was losing, my hair was growing back. See, because when you're suffering through depression, you're losing hair. You're What I was doing, I was losing hair. I was stressing out. I was always getting really bad migraines. Like, my head was always hurting. It was always sore because I was crying so hard that I was stressing the fuck out. And then it was just a depression. It was hitting me hard. It was telling me that I didn't belong here. Like, I don't belong. Why am I here? I'm suffering so much. Why am I here? And that's probably what he was going through. Nobody understands him. His friends and stuff, it seems like they failed him. A simple, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? Can completely change something. It can completely change something. So, it's like, the whole thing is just, it's fucking sad. Like, it really is. And I hope that more people get help. Or more people get in a situation like me, like, where they start taking like therapy classes like I was taking, and kind of changes their life. You kind of find some things that will give you a reason to be in this world. I kind of found my peace of mind where I found things that genuinely make me happy that no one will ever be able to take from me, like gaming and arts and craft. I've always loved arts and crafts. Going to concerts and festivals and stuff, and meeting new people and hanging out with new people. Um, Going to festivals like EDC and Lost Lands and Tomorrowland every year, every couple of months. Saving up just money to go on vacations and stuff like that have totally changed my life. Because when I go to these festivals, I find people who enjoy the same things as me, like enjoy the same types of music. It's like techno and house and all this great EDM music, who enjoy these same types of music as me. And it is amazing. It makes me happy because I found my peace of mind. Dancing is what clears my soul. Dancing is what makes me happy. Listening to the music is what makes me happy. So going to these festivals where they play this heavy ass bass, drum and bass, and dubstep and stuff, and other people are headbanging with you and chilling with you. They're passing you some fucking ecstasy, and y'all rolling and stuff and drinking shit tons of water and having fun, eating healthy. And then after that, you go home and you feel so much better. That's my peace of mind. That's the happiness I have founded in my heart that has given me a reason to be here. And another huge part of it is the people that I meet at these festivals. I'm sure that the people that are suffering depression right now, you'll find your peace of mind if you just don't do it. You don't take your life like the way Etika has taken your life. Trust me, I've been on that route. I've been on that position. I've been in those shoes. I don't want to take a trip down memory lane again and think about those things. It's a terrible thing. Um, One of my first boyfriend, his name was Carl. I regret dating him, by the way, because he was an asshole. He had a sister. I think her name was Rose or something. I saw her legs, and both her legs, front half of her legs, were completely scarred up. Scratch. It looked like a cat, like, gave her a million freaking scratches all up her fucking thighs. Her legs they looked scary as fuck. She cut herself. She was depressed. She slashed up her legs, her beautiful thighs. She slashed up her legs because she was depressed, and her entire thighs were covered in cut marks, like a knife was cut, like she was trying to cut open her leg because she was depressed. The shit was sad as fuck. It really was. It's terrible. See, she had a schizophrenic mom. She had a schizophrenic mom. Her mom was going through delusions where her mom didn't think like Middle Eastern. No, it was either Europeans. Nah, I think it was Middle. She didn't think like Middle Eastern people existed. I swear to God. Carl told me all this stuff to himself. She didn't think Middle Eastern people existed. She even questioned her own family, if that was her son or if that was his daughter, if that was her son or if that was her daughter. Like, his mom was full blown suffering a mental sickness in herself. She was delusional and she was paranoid as fuck. And he told me all these crazy things that one time his own mother called Carl a blood-sucking pedophile or something like that. And he was only like 8 years old or something. Like, he was like a little kid, and she's calling him blood-sucking pedophile. And that and then eventually she passed away. She didn't die through suicide. She actually passed away through. She was at a lake, and she was on, I guess, the dock part of the lake. She's standing there, and she fell and she hit her head on the dock, the plank of wood that she was standing on, and she hit her head and she drowned, and that's how she passed away. So now Carl was just living with himself, his sister, and his dad, and I was living with him at the time, and yeah, their family isn't the same. There's definitely a mental illness that lives in his family. I don't know if they've recovered or not. I hope they have, because his mental illness is a reason why he put his hands on me. Um, but there's a terrible thing. Like, she had beautiful legs, and her legs are completely covered in slash marks. She cut her legs up because she was depressed because of her mom. Her mom was fucking psycho. She was insane. She was losing her sanity. She was going crazy. That's why she cut herself. Me personally, the reason why I don't have any marks anywhere on my body is because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in cutting myself, because I feel as though scars are just terrible reminders of what you have been through. That's why I've never cut myself. That's why I never will cut myself if I become depressed, because me leaving a mark on my body because of the terrible things that I've been through, will not make the situation better, but will make it worse, because 10, 20 years from now, when you overcome that sadness, when you overcome that depression, there's a reminder there right on your body why you cut yourself, why that mark is still there. And her thighs are completely covered in scars from cutting her legs. So she has 100 memories to reminisce on. 100 memories on her legs herself. And there are some people that have those marks on their body. And it's terrible looking at them. It's really sad. I really wish people wouldn't do that to themselves. I know what it's like to be depressed, and the last thing I would do is cut myself, because I don't want memories. I don't want memories stuck in my body. That's more of a good reason to get tattoos. And I'm serious about that too. More a good reason to get tattoos, because then you can get a tattoo. If let's say I did end up cutting myself, I would get a tattoo with like Hello Kitty or something right on that scar to completely forget that that was there. Because I don't need those memories on. I don't need those memories written on my body. So that's what I just wanted to talk about, for the mental illness that lives inside our heart. At the end of the day, it's never the person's fault for why they're depressed, and it's never the person's fault for why they don't blame themselves or whatnot. People, the thing about mental illnesses, it lives inside of you. The chemistry that lives inside of you will constantly make you feel bad about it. You know? Constantly tell you that it's your fault. It's all your fault. Because it eats you alive. That's just what I wanted to talk about. I didn't put any gaming in. I was thinking about playing Terra and talking about it, but then I was like, that's a little tacky, a little inconsiderate to be focused on the gameplay and not on what the real problem here. And that's a mental illness issue. And I spread my condolences for him and his family, and it's terrible. And to all the people that were laughing, or that are laughing, about this situation, you're the scum of the fucking earth, and I hope you rot in hell. You'll reap what you sow. Your your day will be coming to you when once your life ends, people will be laughing at your grave, at your funeral. You should know why, because you're the reason. You think that this shit is funny, and now it's happening vice versa, and now we don't feel sorry for you. So that's just what I wanted to say at the end of the day. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. Next video we'll be doing will actually be gameplay. I won't be talking about Etika. But deuces.